The problems began early on with the casting of Rachel Zegler as Snow White. Now, why was
Why? Yeah, why is that a problem?
this a problem, you might ask? Well, the original German folktale describes the character as
Oh, for fuck's sake, I don't care. I don't care about the original German folktale. You guys always dig up these random fucking archaeological facts. You guys are like fucking digging through fossils trying to find some way to justify Snow White being fucking perfect white or some shit. No. Fuck off. I don't care.
follows. Schneewittchen hat Lippen rot von einer Rose, Haar schwarz wie Ebenholz und Haut weiß wie Schnee. Or, in less world-dominating terms, Snow White had lips red as a rose, hair black as ebony, and skin white as snow. Skin white as snow.
Just digging up random shit just to make fun of... Number one, she's fairly white. Like, I don't know what her genetic ancestry is, but she looks pretty white in that fucking picture. And number two, I don't fucking care. I don't. Let's see, oh yeah, his Snow White thing. Okay, so I want to go over his Snow White thing because I saw that thing was getting lots of attention. It came out like a week or so ago, so it's not the newest thing, but I think it's worth diving into because he did do a Snow White thing, didn't he? Oh, God, yeah, it's the one before the Barbie one. So,
You know, I'm beginning...
Disney is releasing, apparently, their next live-action remake is going to be the Snow White movie. And I want to stress that there are a billion live-action Snow White movies. So this isn't actually anything new. I guess this will be a new version for Disney. But, like, even if this is bad, I kind of don't care. I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen... or if you've seen recently, you probably have seen it, but if you've recently seen the animated Snow White, it's not very good. It's dated terribly. So, like, it's definitely a story that could use some updating. Now, is Disney going to make the right calls updating it? If we're judging by the track record of their live-action remakes, probably not. But, like, all these guys got really triggered by this movie. I really don't know much about it. Gal Gadot is apparently going to be the evil queen. Okay, fine. But yeah, so I'm going to be learning about it as Critical Drinker talks about it, because he doesn't really know about either, because it's not like a movie's been released.
To believe that Disney are experiencing some kind of corporate survivor's guilt for all the money they've made over the years, and have resolved to do everything in their power to correct that mistake.
What?
Whether it's tanking every single brand under their umbrella.
Oh, Disney's failing. Disney's failing. I missed that. Yeah, Disney's failing, guys. They're tanking everything. They're not making any money anymore. Didn't you know that? Yeah. I mean, we can go over this, but yeah, Disney has failed every single franchise ever. They've lost all the money they've ever made. They've gone 100% woke, and that's where they've lost all their money. They've lost it in the wokeness. It's kind of sad. All right, so like we can break down the box office here, but we can see how Disney is failing. Starting the first week of 2023, the big movie was Avatar: The Way of Water, which is that's Disney. For the first, pretty much all of January, it's Avatar: The Way of Water, which okay, that's Disney. That's Disney. Okay, so then we got Knock at the Cabin. Knock at the Cabin, I'm pretty sure isn't Disney. Oh, Universal. Okay, it's Universal. So Universal got 1 week, and then Magic Mike's Last Dance is probably Warner Brothers. Okay. Warner Brothers and Universal each got a weekend. And then Quantumania took over for a couple weeks, which is Disney. And then we got a couple weeks down here of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Little Mermaid. Yeah, Disney is failing. Can we see a box office breakdown? Ticket sales and market share by year. So 21% of the market share, nearly 1 billion tickets sold. They're bombing. I mean, it literally, like, oh wow, this is, okay, so the breakdown, this is by year. So, yeah, this dip is literally 2020, so all the studios will have that one. Disney's a failure, guys. I hate to tell you this. Disney, it's a failure. They've lost all their money. They have no money anymore. It's kind of amazing they're still even releasing stuff with how little money they have.
Or getting into ridiculous political battles they can never hope to win, or release...
Oh, dude, they're actually doing very well against DeSantis. DeSantis is getting his ass handed to him by Disney legally, and I literally hate the fact that I'm rooting for a major corporation over DeSantis, but DeSantis is taking such a cringe angle on this that that's what ended up happening. And yeah, Disney is winning that battle.
And flop after flop that have burned through hundreds of millions of dollars. It feels like the company is conducting...
Okay, so Ant-Man and the Wasp, I haven't seen any, so Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Say what you will about the movie. It didn't flop. It at least made its money back plus some. Elemental, to my understanding, kind of recovered. Like, it kind of floundered in opening weekend, but then it kind of recovered. So it's at nearly 400 million worldwide. I don't know what the budget is off the top of my head. But yeah, the opening weekend didn't do great, but like its legs are doing fantastic. Yeah, you can see here the legs of it. It kind of opened weak, but then it kept on going. It overperformed what was expected to do after that opening weekend. So calling that a flop is quite a stretch, which leaves us to Indiana Jones 4. And again, if you want to say it didn't make all its money back in the box office, therefore flop, which would be the only one of the three that I would say qualifies under that, then sure. But it's gonna make its money back. It's fucking Indiana Jones. It will end up in the green before all said and done.
It feels like the company is conducting its very own Viking funeral on itself while it's still alive. Yeah! And since they've more or less run out of ideas for new things to create, they've decided to pilfer their back catalogue of classic animated movies with a series of soulless, cynical, cash grab live-action remakes.
True. If you want to criticize them for that, go for it. Yeah, I've so Aladdin was fine, but I haven't seen it since it came out. I really like Jungle Book, and that is it. Like, well, I guess I haven't seen Christopher Robin. Lion King was fucking soulless as fuck. Dumbo was fucking nowhere.
The problem is that the first few films actually did pretty well at the box office, so they've decided to put the brakes on their latest...
The first few? Like, Little Mermaid overall did actually pretty well. Lion King was huge.
Project with an unnecessary race swap of the main character...
Unnecessary race swap. Ignoring the fact that Halle Bailey was phenomenal in the role. Like, I didn't like the Little Mermaid remake. Because it's a Disney live-action remake, and I'm not a fan of really most of them. Halle Bailey was probably the best fucking thing in that movie. She killed it.
Rewriting and undermining the core themes of the story to make...
How? How does her having black skin undermine the core themes of the fucking story, bro?
Make it acceptable for modern audiences, and hammering it all home with what I can only describe as the single worst collection of sounds ever recorded by human technology in all of history.
Remember my song in the swamp when I was like, wham, chicka, wham, wham, chicka.
Aquafina did a goofy song in Little Mermaid. Move on. It was literally one song. Like, Disney movies will have the goofy song. They will. We're talking about the fucking studio that did, We Are Siamese, If You Please. I think that was it. Something like that. Yeah. Let's not pretend like this is the worst thing they've done.
And they look set to repeat this not-so-winning formula with their next live-action remake, Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. Oh wait, sorry, Snow White and the Seven Magical Diverse Gender Non-Conforming Vertically Challenged Creatures.
Thank you!
The thing is, Snow White is a bit of a special one for the Disney Corporation because it was their very first feature-length animated movie made by Walt himself way back in 1937. Taking its inspiration from a 19th century German fairy tale by the Brothers Grimm, it tells the story of a beautiful young woman who gets betrayed by her evil stepmother and eventually takes refuge in a forest with 7 dwarfs who give her shelter and protection. And when the evil stepmother comes back to finish the job, they risk their lives to defend her until eventually she gets found by the handsome prince and brought back to life with a true love's kiss. It was a timeless story of betrayal, friendship, loyalty, sacrifice, and the redeeming power of love. And adjusted for inflation, it's still the highest grossing animated film of all time, and one of the most important movies in the history of cinema. Now, call me crazy if you like, but something tells me this remake isn't going to be so well regarded.
Well, yeah, none of the live-action remakes have been well regarded, at all. So that's kind of an easy call.
The problems began early on with the casting of Rachel Zegler as Snow White. Now,
Why? Yeah, why is that a problem?
this a problem, you might ask? Well, the original German folktale describes the character as
Oh, for fuck's sake, I don't care. I don't care about the original German folktale. You guys always dig up these random fucking archaeological facts. You guys are like fucking digging through fossils trying to find some way to justify Snow White being fucking perfect white or some shit. No. Fuck off. I don't care.
follows. Schneewittchen hat Lippen rot von einer Rose, Haar schwarz wie Ebenholz und Haut weiß wie Schnee. Or, in less world-dominating terms, Snow White had lips red as a rose, hair black as ebony, and skin white as snow. Skin white as snow.
Just digging up random shit just to make fun of... Number one, she's fairly white. Like, I don't know what her genetic ancestry is, but she looks pretty white in that fucking picture. And number two, I don't fucking care. I don't.
Skin white as snow. Sure, okay. I mean, you'd think that Disney might have learned from The Little Mermaid that imposing...
Little Mermaid. By the way, Halle Bailey, best part of that fucking movie. Okay? Like, I didn't like the movie, but she was the best part. So, if you're learning that maybe, like, they should just hire the best talent for it and not care about skin color, I agree. That's a good lesson learned.
21st century American cultural norms by race-swapping major characters from popular European fairy tales doesn't tend to go down too well, but whatever.
Well, I mean, the movie financially did fine. So, I don't know what you're trying to Are you trying to say it was a bomb? Because it wasn't a bomb. Here, we can pull that up, too. You guys have me going into the box office a lot. Alright, so worldwide, probably about where it's going to finish off. $500 million. Over $500 million. Yeah. What a bomb. Yeah, you'll never be able to make money on that one.
As long as they nailed the characterization and stayed true to the themes and ideas of the original story, I'm sure it would all be fine.
This Snow White is going to have a modern edge to her, a modern edge to her, a modern edge to her.
Okay, I've said this before and I'll say this again. It's impossible to make a piece of media that doesn't reflect the world we live in. It has to. Because that's just how media fucking works. Because it's art, and art reflects the world we live in. All of it. Every single fucking one. So, like, you can't make a live-action Snow White remake with 1937 sensibilities today. You just can't, because it's impossible.
Cartoon was so focused on her finding true love, and it's really not even in her mind at all in this film. So focused on becoming the leader and how to find her own agency.
They love to dig around through these interviews. So, like, we have no idea what the context is. Odds are they've done 1 billion of these, like, red carpet interviews. They're on autopilot. Somebody's probably trying to tell Gal Gadot something, and she's just, like, paying attention to that. They dig up this shit, and they try to act like this means anything. It doesn't mean anything.
and becoming the leader and how to find her own agency.
And also notice there was an edit. There was an edit there. So obviously there was a point in this interview where like she's looking and she's paying attention. Oh, we have to cut to the next part where she's not like where she's looking away.
And how to find her own agency.
Of course she does. Because why have a story about the redeeming power of love when we can focus instead on the only thing that truly matters in life? You. Don't you see? It's about what you want. What's best for you. What makes you.
Well, actually, self-care is an important part of, honestly, kind of making the world better. Like, you take care of yourself, you can help take care of the world around you a lot better. You're gonna be a better parent if you take care of yourself. These are, like, just, like, basic things that you learn. Like, obviously, you can take it too far, but, like there's nothing wrong with self-care at all.
You happy, and everyone else can go fuck themselves. Now, where have I heard this sentiment before?
It's also updated with the current times, you know?
Yes. Everything's gonna be updated for the current time because it's made in the current fucking time, dude. Get over it. Like, you go over these red carpet events, and these people will kind of essentially just have talking points from the studio that they'll repeat, and you're acting like, oh, it's a gotcha. It's not a fucking gotcha. It's their fucking job.
Oh, it's not just all about a boy, you know? It's all about what she wants for her.
You know, they're going to be struggling over the next couple of weeks when they're releasing movies, if any movie comes out like this, because there's not going to be a red carpet shit for it. They're not going to be able to find it because they can't do any publicity for movies right now.
Herself.
Jesus, it's like a bunch of robots that have all been given the latest software download at the same time.
Yes, they're given things to say at these interviews because they're fucking actors, bro. You know this. You can't be this fucking ignorant of the goddamn business, bro.
You know, I love how Disney are still trying to sell this idea of strong, self-actualized female protagonists pursuing their life goals without the help of a man, as if it's some crazy...
Well, how often has there been a man who's been self-actualized and figured out their life goals without the help of a woman? Come on, man.
new idea that's never been tried before, instead of, you know, the plot of literally every single movie and TV show they've made in the past 10 years.
Not even remotely fucking close. Not even remotely close. And you know what? We'll break this down right now. I got this thing open right now. So, box office... Annual box office. All right. Super Mario Brothers, #1 movie. Stars Chris Pratt. Mario is a white man. Chris Pratt's a white man. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Okay, Miles Morales. Sure. But it's not a woman. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Starring Chris Pratt again. White man playing a white man. Barbie. Okay, sure. I'll give you Barbie. Little Mermaid. Avatar. Way of the Water. This is the biggest movie since the pandemic, right? Stars Sam Worthington, white man, action role. Yeah, $2.3 billion. Yeah. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumanium, starring Paul Rudd, white man. John Wick, Chapter 4, starring Keanu Reeves, white man. Oppenheimer, starring Cillian Murphy, white man. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, starring Harrison Ford, white man. I think white men are doing okay, man. Just saying.
This isn't new or inventive anymore, and you're not impressing anyone with this shit. In fact, all you're really doing is taking away timeless elements of the original story and replacing them with a vacuous, shallow, and ultimately meaningless facade of female empowerment. You don't need a man. You don't need love. You don't need attachments to other people, in fact. You just need to be strong. Be empowered.
Okay, I don't recall me ever saying you don't need attachments to other people. Friendships are important. Family's important. Although I do think it's important to get away from the idea that you need, like, a significant other to complete you. It's important to learn to complete yourself. And a significant other should just be, like, almost like just, like, a really good friend, you know, with benefits, obviously, that you live with. But you should complete yourself. Oh, shit, I forgot. I didn't even think about that. You're right, Duck Shoes. Gwen did usurp Miles in Across the Spider-Verse, so that is now the star of the movie. I forgot.
Howard, be a leader and buy more of our products. I mean, okay, maybe the main character's a bit of a bust, but what about the dwarves? I mean, really, they were as much of a collective protagonist in the original movie as Snow White herself. They went through a real character arc together, they learned to work together, to take advantage of their unique skills, to risk their lives for someone else, and ultimately they learned the value of friendship, loyalty, and sacrifice. Oh wait, they're not actually dwarves anymore. Not since the towering intellect of Peter Dinklage weighed in on the film and decided that the portrayal of dwarves in the original movie was backwards and insulting.
Are you serious?
They were kind of goofballs. I could see that argument. Are you actually going to dive into it? Or are you just going to be like, oh, we're offended because the original movie was so great?
Yes.
Peter, mate, you understand that those characters were actually the fantasy species of dwarf and not actual humans afflicted with dwarfism, right? Either way, the result was the same. Someone was angry and things had to change. The dwarves were shit-canned and changed into magical.
Well, I mean, obviously someone at the studio or creative had to approve it, because Peter Dinklage... It's not like Peter Dinklage gave an interview and they went, oh, fuck, Peter Dinklage says this, we have to do what he says. Of course not.
Forest creatures, whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean, and 7 roles that could have been played by dwarf actors were basically erased.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Honestly, you'd think that Peter would have been the bigger man and given his fellow actors a chance, but I guess not. Maybe he's got an elevated sense.
Like, what? Like, Peter Dinklage is, like, what? Did he direct this? What does Peter Dinklage have to do with this movie? Is he writing it? Did he direct it? Okay, I am so confused right now. Okay, so this is in January of 2022. Disney defends its Snow White remake after criticism from Peter Dinklage. Disney is on the defensive after actor Peter Dinklage criticized its plans to release a live-action remake of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The studio announced that in June 2021 that it had cast West Side Story breakout hit Rachel Zegler. Oh! By the way, if you guys haven't seen the remake of West Side Story, check it out. It's fantastic. It's probably better than the original, and I like the original. Also, like and subscribe to this stream. And the video. You might be watching this in video when I crop it later. Anyways, Rachel Zegler as the titular character in the forthcoming remake of the 1937 film, which was Disney's first animated feature and a major box office success. The live-action version will be directed by Mark Webb. Best known for the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies and feature Gal Gadot as the evil queen. Disney previously said that the production would start in 2022. Dinklage pushed back against the remake in an episode of WTF with Mark Maron podcast that aired Monday. The Grammy-winning Game of Thrones star who has a form of dwarfism called achondroplasty. I'm slaughtering that. I apologize. Said he was taken aback by the studio's celebration of casting a Latina-led lead, even as it revisits the story with problematic representation of dwarves. Take a step back and look at what you're doing there. It makes no sense to me, he said. About an hour into the 80-minute episode, you're progressive in one way, and you're still making fucking backwards story about the 7 dwarves living in a cave together. What the fuck are you doing, man? Dinklage stressed that he meant literally no offense to anyone and sent all love and respect to the actress and to the people who thought they were doing the right thing. But his frustration was palpable. Have I done nothing to advance the cause for my soapbox, he continued. I guess I'm not loud enough. He added that he would enthusiastically support a more sensitive retelling of the 85-year-old film with a cool progressive spin on it, but wasn't otherwise convinced. Dinklage commented on comments picked up on Steam Online. Disney responded to his concerns in a statement report by Variety and other media outlets. To avoid reinforcing the stereotype from the original animated movie, we are taking a different approach with the 7 characters that have been consulting with members of the dwarfism community, the spokesperson said. We look forward to sharing more as the film heads into production after a lengthy development period. Dinklage said on the podcast that he was not affiliated with any particular group and has expressed discomfort at the thought of speaking on behalf of other people of his size in previous interviews, telling New York Times Magazine in 2012, every person my side has a different life, different history. So, yeah. So he just made comments on a podcast and Disney replied, and somehow he is responsible for the Disney live-action remake. What? Okay.
Of his own importance or something. So let's consider what we've got so far with this thing. A classic European fairy tale about a young woman with skin as white as snow, played by an actress of Colombian descent. So,
oh my god. For fuck's sake. Dude. You're gonna have to drop the racism if you want to stop being called a bigot. You're just gonna have to drop it.
That everyone can see themselves in 19th century German folklore. A story about the search for true love that's no longer about true love in order to avoid offending the lonely middle-aged feminists that'll never actually watch the movie in the first place. And supported by 7 dwarves that are no longer dwarves in order to avoid offending Peter Dinklage.
Okay, like, they responded, but, like, I don't think... Like, what evidence do you have? Like... They're not being played by... Do we know that?
Fuck. But hey, at least it'll probably look good, right? I mean, these live-action movies cost hundreds of millions of dollars, so you can bet it's gonna be up there on screen for all to see.
Okay, well, I don't know. Snow White looks fine. Live action remake and all. The dwarves don't look great, but you know what? You know what didn't look great either? The still images from Rings of Power. Do you know what series looked phenomenal? Rings of Power. Rings of Power, like, you could see that budget in those shots, man. That was a gorgeous fucking series. So what have we learned from still photos? Especially this one. This one isn't being shot for, like, it just looks like some leaked images. This doesn't look like it's being shot for any publicity.
Now, I have to admit, I didn't react to these pictures at first because, like a lot of people, I naturally assumed that they had to be fake. I mean, they've got to be, right? There's no way a big-budget movie could possibly look this shit. And for a few hours, at least, it seemed like I was right. Then the confirmation came back from a Disney spokesman that they were, in fact, real photos from the movie set.
Oh, so they're not officially released photos, they're just leaked photos. Okay.
My god, they're real.
I just can't anymore, man. This right here is the decline of Western culture summed up in a single image, and this movie is the literal personification of everything wrong with modern entertainment. It's what happens when you're so desperate to showcase your progressive credentials and conform to the endlessly growing list of contradictory demands and nonsensical restrictions that you end up tying both of your creative hands behind your back. And what you ultimately produce is just as soulless, joyless, and pointless as the people you're desperately trying to win approval from. Because here's the thing, whenever you ask them what they want next, no matter how far you've already gone or how much you've sacrificed to try to appease them, the answer will always be the same. More. No matter how many concessions you make, how many problematic elements you
What, more diversity? What argument are you making? They just want more. More what? What?
Mercilessly hack away from your story, how many progressive characters and themes and mindless talking points you awkwardly shove in.
They actually, like, live-action remakes, like, progressive characters. I'm not even 100% sure what a progressive character is. I guess a non-white male character. Because that seems to be it. As far as, like, themes, like, they're really, like, the themes are usually about the same. From the live-action to the animated ones. Maybe some variation, but not a lot.
Into your narrative, it will quite simply never be enough. There's always going to be another point of outrage, another demand for change, another rule that can't be broken, another piece of your creative freedom you're asked to give up, another piece of cultural heritage to be rewritten for a modern audience that doesn't exist. And you know what? They're fucking welcome to it. If this is the kind of sterile, loveless, charmless, creatively bankrupt propaganda that you choose to serve up, then best of luck to you. Because if the reactions online are anything to go by, you're absolutely gonna need it. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
So he's literally getting triggered just because there were some leaked images. They weren't official images, they were leaked images. And like I said, the official images from Rings of Power didn't look great, but like, the show itself looked great. Now, do I have any hope for the Disney live-action remake of Snow White? Not really. None of these live-action remakes have been fucking good. The least of my problems are a Latina Snow White, who honestly looks great in the role. Like, what's your complaint there? Like, she has to be perfectly white. Shut the fuck up. That's just pure racism. And, like, I'm getting sick of, like, this Hans Christian Andersen German folklore digging around for specific things to justify bigotry. It's bullshit and it's obnoxious. And the critical drinker loves to do shit like that. He loves to, like, poke around. Just, listen, man, I can't be obviously a bigot, but, like, I feel like I have to court that audience, so that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. I am, critical drinker sucks. I don't know what else to say. I think that sums up nicely. Critical drinker, you are a joke. You are, terrible at your job. You are only a movie critic in that you talk about movies poorly.
Books, records, films, these things matter. Call me shallow. It's the fucking truth.